marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe. Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important film now.
Reefer Madness is a government-funded anti-marijuana movie. Dwayne Esper, one of the distributors, testified and admitted that to the Arizona Supreme Court. While the government was promoting weed prohibition, smoking was advertised in cartoons.
That's it! Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big...
Even doctors recommended it.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor? Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Why not change to Camels for the next 30 days and see what a difference it makes in your smoking enjoyment? See how Camels agree with your
Smoking
throat.
was a social
See how
norm,
mild
and no one
good
batted an
tasting
eye
a
when
cigarette
children
can be.
did it too. What do we actually know about nicotine found in all tobacco products today? According to the U.S. Health and Human Services, nicotine found in all tobacco products is a highly addictive drug that acts in the brain and throughout the body. According to the CDC, cigarettes kill more than 4,800,000 Americans each year. Tobacco use remains the single largest preventable cause of death and disease in the United States. Nicotine is one of the most addictive and dangerous drugs on the market, yet it's not scheduled as a drug by the DEA. In fact, marijuana is classified as a Schedule I drug, the same as LSD and heroin. But who created the DEA?
I began the meeting by
It was President
making a statement,
Richard
which I think
Nixon.
needs to be made to the nation. America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. I have asked the Congress to provide the legislative authority and the funds to fuel this kind of an offensive. If we're going to have a successful offensive, we need more money. Consequently, I'm asking the Congress for $155 million in new funds, which will bring the total amount this year in the budget for drug abuse, both in enforcement and treatment, to over $350 million. As far as the new money is concerned, incidentally, I have made it clear to the leaders that if this is not enough, if more can be used, if Dr. Jaffe, after studying this problem, finds that we can use more, more will be provided.
During the rescheduling of marijuana, the Schaffer Commission urged Nixon to consider at least decriminalizing marijuana, with reports of how harmless the substance is.
Plant materials would be presumed to have this supply for personal use and would be guilty of no crime.
I don't believe that one can properly discharge the responsibilities that a citizen of our great democracy must discharge in order to preserve it under the influence of a rusty needle or the haze of marijuana smoke.
Despite the fact that the President has already publicly stated that he is unwilling to accept legalization should it be the recommendation of this Commission, I strongly urge that you consider such a possibility.
He ignored it and tossed it in the fire. What do we actually know about cannabis? During Nixon's drug war, he granted the Government Health Service Administration and the American Cancer Society permission to research the harmful effects of marijuana. Tests ran in the Medical College of Virginia instead showed reports of THC and CBD, a substance found in marijuana, slowing down the growth of leukemia and lung and breast cancer in lab mice. The DEA instantly shut down the lab and the experiment was completely defunded. The findings were still published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute. President Ford put an end to all public cannabis research and granted exclusive rights to major pharmaceutical companies. Scientists also need the DEA's permission in order to conduct research on a Schedule I drug. Despite such resistance, journalists have continued to record, write, and publish documentaries and articles of people's personal experience with marijuana and the benefits they received.
Michaela Comstock, an 8-year-old who takes massive doses of concentrated THC to treat her leukemia.
So far, 29 states have either legalized marijuana recreationally or medically with different guidelines. Still, advocates continue to fight to reschedule marijuana, and scientists continue to plead with the DEA to allow them to study the plant. There is no scientific basis of marijuana due to the lack of research, but the states that have continued the practice of legalizing marijuana have decreased opiate deaths significantly, which leads researchers to believe marijuana is the leading factor in the decline of the opiate epidemic.
It never occurred to me that cannabis would benefit me or anyone. I used to use prescription pills to help me sleep, and I use cigarettes to help me cope with anxiety sometimes, and yeah, I mean, that was it for mainly. I quit cigarettes and taking prescription pills to help me with insomnia. I just started smoking cannabis or using it also, and to treat insomnia and anxiety rather than the pills and the tobacco, and yeah, things have been better. I don't get panic attacks now, and I sleep better now. I used to feel tired and groggy in the morning from cigarettes, and my appetite was worse. I think cannabis should be legal because it's a natural plant, and a lot of current studies show that it can be used to treat multiple illnesses. Unlike alcohol and nicotine, which doesn't treat anything and kills hundreds of thousands of people every year.
The government has constantly pushed for marijuana prohibition, but should we really trust the government and the big pharmaceutical companies?
Broke out the institution, got lost in the confusion. Not mad, man, I'm a big fan. I love that noise pollution. It's in my constitution, forever